All right, just making sure you guys were paying attention. Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me now. I just want to kind of see how many people are maybe watching along here. We got a few of y'all. I love that. I'll give it a minute here for you guys to let me know that you can help, that you can hear me. And there you go. Okay, great, great. Like I said, just making sure you guys are paying attention, trying to see how many of y'all are really there. Um, oh, so let's try this again, guys. Man, oh man, one of these days it'll all just work fine. Probably not, but we're going to pretend it is, right? I'm going to have to hire somebody to take care of all this for me. I can't do this myself, obviously. Anyway, Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital coming at you live just a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, the 5th of May, 2023. Just north of Houston, Texas on Lake Conroe, guys. Enjoying the view all the time. The lake is always nice to look at, even on an overcast day like this. Man, we've had a busy week, right? So we had Fed Day there on Wednesday. Fed is raising rates 25 basis points, so no surprise there, right? Exactly what we've been looking for. But there were some positives in there, at least as far as we're looking for, right? So there was a hinting toward potential pause there in June. Again, what we've been looking for. Wouldn't be a surprise at all if it did it. If they did it, also, the Fed still wants to say they're not concerned about banking. I don't know. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as big a deal as everybody's making it. So, again, the Fed's going to basically guarantee that backstop there. I think you would maybe be more concerned about the debt ceiling coming up here. Janet Yellen talking about the Treasury Department there is running out of their extraordinary measures that they use once you've gone. Because remember, we hit the debt ceiling there back in January. So once that happens, the Fed does. I've talked about this before. The Treasury does something called extraordinary measures, in which they pay some bills, don't pay some bills, kind of thing. But anyway, the money is set to run out potentially as soon as the beginning of June, though. Like she said, there are other things going on there, and that's just a possibility. But it seemed like she was more pushing a few weeks at least after that, so end of June. I think they'll pass something, guys. They always do. We do this like all the time. It's just a stupid thing. I don't think we really have to worry about it. I think it'll get done. What else we have? We have Pepe, man. Pepe just running off there, right? Wednesday morning, I was on Scott Melker's show on the Wolf of All Streets podcast there, and one of the charts I pulled up was Pepe, right? And I gave a target there if it broke out, and it did, and it hit that target. That was like 100% rally, I think, or something like that. I have to get back again, but anyway, it hit that target, and then I said, okay, well, if it breaks out higher, then we've got this next target, and it hit that. And I said, okay, if it breaks out again, which I'm expecting it to, we've got this target. It's hit that target as well. Basically just kind of making its way up to the expected wave 5 target. So we'll take a look at that chart here today as well. But man, oh man, you post something out there that's printing people money, right? And you get idiots that come on here and say, oh, you can't, basically they're saying you can't use TA because it's a meme coin. I mean, my God, if you want to sound like you're clueless, guys, when it comes to trading, just say TA doesn't work. Just say that. And we'll know that you aren't a trader, that you aren't really a trader. It's just silliness, guys. It's just silliness. TA by far is better than anything else you'll get out there if you do it properly, right? Fundamental analysis, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, you may like being fundies, but I'm telling you what right now, it doesn't even come close. It doesn't even come close. You have to understand it this way, guys. There are decisions being made, right? The social mood creates decisions that are being made by business owners, hedge funds, private equity, all this stuff, right? The real movers and the shakers, the real people who put their money wherever they're going to put it, and that ends up determining what's going on with the numbers, with the government number release, everything that fundies go off of, right? That fundamental analysis go off of, right? All this happens, and the pricing on the chart reflects this. But if you're a fundamental analyst, you look at the outcome, the numbers that the government gives you, employment, job hiring, all this kind of stuff, all that other stuff. And then you try to create a narrative based on that. The problem with that is most likely you're going to base your analysis on your own bias. It's a tough thing, guys. And so, if you're looking at the charts, you can still kind of be biased on that, but you recognize that you're arguing against it, right? If you've been a bear since the bottom, since November of 2022 on Bitcoin, if you've been a bear since then, you continue to be a bear today, you have moved goalposts consistently. And you have to ask yourself as you're going through that, at what point do you say, listen, I'm probably wrong? Everybody here, they're scared to say they're wrong. Everybody's scared to be wrong. God, I'm going to tell you what right now, if you want to be a trader, you better get that nonsense out of your head. You're going to be wrong a lot. The most important thing is proper risk management. So when you are wrong, because you will be wrong, you protect yourself from yourself. If you cannot get that through your head, if you're going to sit here and just kind of brush it off and say, oh yeah, whatever, you need to get the heck out of the market, because I will take your money all day long, every day, and I won't even think twice about doing it. Okay? I'm being just brutally honest with you guys, because I see this nonsense all the time, right? You see this nonsense all there. Everybody's just arguing about whatever. Again, social media has your armchair traders, right? Your people that just barely came in a year ago thinking they're at the same level as somebody that's been doing it for 30 years. Okay? I'm sorry, guys, but you're not. You're not. If you go and you opened a book on auto repair, yes, books, guys, people still read them. You open a book on auto repair, right? And you went out to your car to figure out what's wrong with it. And you had some mechanic that's been a mechanic for 30 years come over by you and say, this is what I think it is. And you go, oh, no, I think it's this over here. You're an idiot. Okay? I'm be honest with you. You're an idiot. Why would you do that? You go into the hospital with a pain. Oh my gosh, you looked it up on WebMD. And all of a sudden you think it's this, right? Your doctor says, well, I think it's this. No, doctor, it's this. Guess what? You're an idiot. Okay? You see what I'm saying here, guys? And the problem with social media is that people think they can get on there, and they think that just because they have the same voice level, right? Just because they can put their voice out there into the abyss and people can hear them, that all of a sudden their opinion matters with no backing behind it. It doesn't matter, guys. It really doesn't. So, just trying to kind of get your guys' head on straight here, because if you can't understand what I'm saying here, if what I've said already this morning offends you, you need to get out of the market, because you are not going to make it. Seriously, there's no way. I keep telling you guys, you got to be humble, especially when you're starting out. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be wrong when you're starting out, but what it means is you should really listen to people who've been doing it successfully, especially in multiple markets for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That doesn't mean they're always going to be right, but it means they've got a certain level of competence that you don't have yet. And, you should listen to them, see what they're saying. Don't act like an idiot. Because again, at the end of it doesn't bother me that you do that. That just shows me who you are. It doesn't affect my trading at all. It doesn't affect anything I'm doing. But you thinking that and thinking along those lines without doing this other way that I'm talking about, that's going to affect your trading. That's going to make you lose a lot of money day in and day out. I can't say it enough. All right, guys. It's okay. Like I put stuff out there. I'm okay if you ask me what it means, right? Like I put it out there with Pepe, right? And I said, okay, wave 4 would be a 38.2% pullback. And some smart ass gets on there and says, oh man, that's such an exact number. I'd love to know how you got that. Ha ha. I mean, and it's something as simple as if you're using Elliott wave, wave 4 generally has an initial target of the 38.2% retracement level. It's nothing mysterious. It's nothing hidden. It's nothing secretive. It's basic Elliott wave. But you're going to come on there and act like an idiot and show everybody what a tool you are. But, people do that because they use fake pictures and fake names online. It is what it is. But I've never done that. You guys know I've always had my picture, my name on there because I'm serious about that. Right? So anyway, guys, a little bit of a rant this morning, but really not because it bothers me, because it hurts me. It bothers me because you have the potential to be traders. And when you do stuff like that, you're like keeping yourself from being what you could be. And you don't even realize it. Don't do that, guys. Okay? Anyway, how are you guys doing? We had a jobs report came out today, right? 235,000 versus what was it expected to be there? 179,000, I believe, is what it was expected, right? We had a surprise to the upside month over month and year over year for the, oh gosh, I've got to find it here real quick. Let me find it here real quick, guys. I don't want to misspeak here. Let's see. Jobs report gains 253,000 jobs versus 179,000 expected. But we also saw a downward revision of last month's job numbers, which came in at 236, and they were revised down to 165. So right there, what you should be saying is, okay, well, if that happened last month, there's a good chance that might happen this month as well. This 253 might get it adjusted back toward that 179 target that was expected there by the time the next numbers come out, next month. Average hourly earnings month over month and year over year also surprised to the upside at 0.5% and 4.4% respectively. So, again, just, I mean, we continue to see these kind of things up the upside. Everybody's talking about recession, but even the downward revised numbers are still increases, right? You still have like a 3.4, 3.5% unemployment level. It's still historically low. It's crazy, guys. You know me. I expected it to already kind of rally up a bit, right, to get some job losses out there, and it hasn't yet. So, is it this thing where it's supposed to be a recession, but companies and everything just batten down the hatches and just bully their way through it? They're taking the hits, but they keep pushing. And then by the time this supposed recession, is supposed to be over, we didn't really have it because they just kind of pushed through it. And then things kind of go weird. So, it's a really interesting time right now. But as long as unemployment is down like it is, I mean, it's really hard to see that we have a recession. Again, a recession, you need people losing jobs. You need people having trouble with money. So they're not out there buying and spending, which means companies have to cut back more on production and they have to fire more people, right? I mean, that's what it is. Companies keep if people keep finding jobs, it's hard to get to that point. So we'll see what happens there. But here's the thing, guys, especially with fundamental analysts, you go, okay, well, we've got a recession incoming. And they said that for a year and a half now, right? But that's the problem. They could be right. But there's, when is that timing going to be? It obviously hasn't been in the last year and a half, right? We continue to keep pushing, right? And so if you've sat there and waited since June or November for prices to keep coming down, on the charts, you just see they just keep going up. You've missed a lot of upside because you've been so gosh darn determined that you're going to get some kind of recession or something, which again may happen, but you don't know when that is. There's that saying, markets can stay irrational a lot longer than you can stay liquid. And it's the same thing for macroeconomic news, right? Numbers. Yes, you may be right about where it's headed, but it may take a lot longer to get there than what you think. Or it might get there and pop out a lot quicker than what you think, right? And we don't get points just for being right that it happened. We get points for actually making money with it, right? And not missing a whole bunch of money along the way. So, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to look at, guys, as far as all that's going. So, again, none of this says we can't get a recession. We won't get a recession. But I'm a trader. I'm going to look at these charts. I'm going to keep trading these charts. Because otherwise, I missed 100% rally from Bitcoin over 5+ months. I missed larger rally from Ethereum since last June. My God, guys, Ethereum going down for almost a year, right? And then it's been going up now, right? Since last June for almost a year. And you really think it has further to fall? Again, I can't guarantee that nothing's going to fall further, but man, what has to happen for you to actually get realistic about what you're thinking about, right? And here's the thing, people will call, and it's been going way up there, right? And people say, oh yeah, well look, if it went down, I was right. You were right a year and a half later. What does that do any good? You tried shorting the entire way down. You kept getting margin called all the way up, right? You kept getting liquidated all the way up. How are you doing yourself any favor? Stop worrying about what the rest of Twitter is saying and social media and trade like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your livelihood does. If you get that recession you're so concerned about, you want to make sure you have cash. Imagine sitting here saying, oh, recession for, 2 years. And it finally comes, but you missed all that money you could have made the entire way. And now you got a recession and you're broke. Does that make sense, guys? It's just such a thing there, right? Anyway, good to see y'all here. Who's here already? Let me see here. We've got Bamboo. We've got Brian Riley. What's going on, guys? Fibbo's here. Andrew Bennett. John D, good to see you. Dominic says sound money. Yes, we all like the idea of sound money, don't we? Diego Chile from Chile. What's going on, man? I'm Deuce. You're here as well. Data's here. Who else is here? I just want to say hi to you guys this morning before we get on here. Toby, what's going on, my friend? Liking that pivot course, huh? I appreciate that. It's nice words to say about it there this morning. John Cross, good to see you. Hank wants to know, how's life this Friday, everybody? You missed that part on Pepe. That one is crazy, John. Yeah, Pepe's been crazy. By the way, guys, if I'm posting charts on these micro caps and stuff, which it was at the time, right? I'm not trading it. I don't trade it. I don't have to. I'm not even thinking about trading it. I don't just usually throw money into something and hope it goes long. Again, that's not really trading. That's scratched off lottery tickets, right? I'm a trader, so I trade charts. But I'll post charts on it, stuff like that, as I did this last week. So, I guess I say that because I had somebody actually accuse me. Oh man, for those of you that haven't heard, I posted a Bitcoin chart, right? That said, is 50, are we about to see an impulsive move up toward 50,000? Got a huge amount of attention. I think it was shared and quote shared like over 300 or 400 times. Had like 1,500 likes on it, whatever. Had over 100 comments on it. And with that, one of the comments was a warning to y'all that I was just pumping that up so that I could dump on you. So I could dump Bitcoin on you. Because I have that much money. I don't have that much money, guys. I don't have enough money that I'm going to make the market move when I buy or sell. Especially on those larger time frames. But anyway, so you guys, oh geez, it's so silly. It's such silliness out there. Brian Riley says TA is long money. That's right. That's right. What did Fibbo say here? There's a place for both TA and FA where there are voids for each. FA cannot capture near-term momentum trend, and TA cannot. Well, TA is king. It is, guys. And again, it all comes down to: are you willing to let go of the preconceived notions you have about how the market works and what's going on there, and really dive in and learn? This is something I'm going to put a big emphasis on teaching everybody this year, because I just think if you know it, your life is a lot better. I'm just tired of the nonsense out there, guys. And people come in and they believe the nonsense and they lose a lot of money on it. There's no reason to. Let me see here. John Cross says he keeps learning something new every day about TA. That's right, man. That's the way it should be. I learn something new. Maybe not quite every day, but I always seek to learn something new. Guys, I'm going to tell you, no matter what it is, whatever you think you know, if you believe that you know everything there is to know enough about it, then you're already falling behind. Anything that you want to know about or think you're really good at, you should be seeking to understand new ways and new things about it. And that will keep you at the top of your game. Anything else, you're just going to fall to the wayside. You're going to get run over by the rest of the world. I'm telling you guys. Nevlusion, good to see you, man. Kimasabi says, I can't even say it, see? Statistically speaking, 90% don't have the mentality for trading. It takes perseverance over psychology, which Chris is the only streamer teaching us. Yeah. Again, it really is with it. And what Kimasabi is saying is they don't have the mentality for trading. What it means is people are not choosing to really be traders. I think I said this recently, guys, where I asked you, are you actually serious about being a trader, or are you just saying you are? Because that's a hard thing to accept, because most people just say they are. Like other things in their lives, they'll just say that they're doing this or that because it's easy to say it, right? It's easy to say it and feel good about saying it. But are you actually putting in the hard work that it takes to get where you want to get, right? People say, yeah, well, I'm getting in shape, but are you really? What did you eat 2 less cookies today? Or are you actually out there running a mile? It's just the reality of actually just saying versus doing. And so, again, guys, all these things I teach you about trading are really applicable in life. Trading is just an extension of life. You can't do life one way and then do trading another and expect there won't be a conflict in your head. Cognitive dissonance is going to happen, guys. And you're going to just do the easiest way out, which is the lazy thing, honestly. Matt, what's going on? Our local bear here says mega dump is closer than ever. Define mega dump. Because mega is just, honestly, I want to know what you're thinking, because mega is just an emotional word, right? When you say mega dump, you're getting people emotionally charged. That doesn't help anything. That isn't analysis. That's just emotional words, right? They're just meant to instill an emotion. They don't actually give you any real information. So yeah. Crypto Critical says they're cutting more managers that do less than nothing. There's a lot of that, and we get a lot of that bloat, guys. In case you didn't understand, in the business cycle, when you're getting midway and you start really ramping it up, you start just hiring on a bunch of people to sit there and do absolutely nothing. And it's because you have the money to do so, right? You have the credit to do so. You have the wherewithal to do so. You can't do that. In the doldrums, right? Where production is down and income, revenues are down, sales are down, and all that. But when your money's flowing in, you just kind of tend to throw it out there everywhere. Dan, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Ronsicle, what's going on, man? He says, admit it, you were the Pepe pumper. Yeah, not even, man. I have no reason to put any money into that silly stuff. Yeah, I said silly. I just, again, guys, the way I feel about the micro caps is something I've said for years now, is that the people who are getting involved in that often are looking to get rich overnight. And so most of them don't, because most of them don't know when to get out, right? But even when they do make money in it, they usually lose it and more. Again, because they keep trying to do the same thing with different coins and whatnot. And so it's that same idea as the lottery winner, right? You buy a Powerball ticket, you win $400 million. 3 3 years later, you're broke, right? I mean, it happens like significantly enough that there's actually studies on this, psychological studies on this. And it's because you just got lucky. You weren't prepared for that money that came in or what to do with it or how to deal with it. So you just continued living the way you were living, just, um, in a much more glorified manner, I guess you could say, right? Does that make sense? Let me see here. Bias is definitely a killer, Ronsicle. Yes, I believe. I believe the same thing there. Let me see here. Andrew Bennett says at some point the market will dump. Eventually, that's right. Yeah, but even dump. What does dump mean, right? Still, the word dump is still emotional, right? If there's one thing I can help you guys get with here, besides the understanding that risk management is so important, stuff like that, is the less emotional words you use, the less emotional you're likely to be when you're trading, and getting out as much emotion as possible is paramount for good trading, right? Let me see here. Ahmet says he believes this is the last pump before Bitcoin goes to 24 or even to 21. I wouldn't consider that a mega dump. It's not. It's a pullback, guys. On a larger time frame, it's a pullback, right? Wave one up from the bottom, it's a wave two. It's not a dump, right? You see what I'm saying? So when you use those emotionally charged words, you don't really convey what you mean, and that doesn't help anybody, right? You or anybody else. But you say last pump, so how far is the pump though? That's the question, right? How far is the pump? Because now we're getting near that 29,000 again, and we'll take a look here in just a minute now. Let me see here. Jonas, what's going on, man? Good to see you. All right, guys. So let's kind of come in here. Let's see what we're looking at. Let's see. Yeah, we can start here with this chart. Let me pull it up here for you. There we go. Okay, so still same charts we've been kind of looking at, right? As far as Bitcoin goes, right? So we had this one chart here. This is the quarterly chart, which shows this big monster move up, which again always kind of leads to at least a sideways motion, if not a pullback, right? Right now we've got sideways, but this one won't be done until the end of June. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm kind of looking at this sort of movement up here off that. But importantly, I think, again, you can look right here. This is the clean chart, right? This is the idea that we broke out above this year-long resistance. And then we've got this support, resistance, which becomes resistance here. So you get this bounce in between it, break out above it, using it as support. This is that 2019 period, right? Right before it did, that's this area right here, right before it did an 80-somewhat% rally, right? You can see how we're kind of similar in what we're looking at right here. So, the question is, do we get that? I mean, if we look on here, that rally, and it doesn't have to do this, but I find it compelling right now to look at what's going on there. That was a 78.6, right? So if we do this, and we get a 78.6, that gets us up there right around 50,000, right? So again, I mean, there's a lot going on that's similar there. Again, we kind of got this pullback to the this right here, as you can see, is the 200 MA on the daily here. So we had the breakout above it, the pullback, then go. We had the breakout above it, the pullback, and then the go. And then we went up, and then we found support right on this support here, right on this support here, on the same support. I mean, so really kind of doing the same thing in here that we were doing here, right? And if we look here, again, that pattern is rhyming like the Beastie Boys. Man, Beastie Boys, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. But you got this right here, and there's basically what it is. You didn't have quite as much of a drop here, and you had a bit more rally here, but ultimately there's a rhyme in this pattern here, right? And so if you're looking for analogs, that's a pretty good one right there. And we would be right here looking to kind of rally up, right? Looking to rally up. So again, I don't think that you should ignore that. We'll see what happens. There is no guarantee it has to happen. But again, the comparison there, the similarities are quite striking, right? Rossico says those 2017 pumps and dumps were crazy and fun. Man, I don't know. There was actually that. and the really bad TA that got me started to really speak out more publicly. I was in my second year of law school at that point. But yeah, those pumps and dumps were everywhere. I was just like, wow. Let me see here. Ahmed's looking for a maximum of 31.9. So what happens if you get above 31.9? What happens if you get to 31.901? What does that do for you at that point then? Because if you look 31.109, you're basically looking for a breakout just above here, right? Oh, you said 31,900. Okay, 31,900. I'm sorry. That would get you. Well, heck, we'll just do this. 31,900, just going to get you right there. Don't worry about this, which is just this right here, right? But all your volume is right here. So why would you be looking for it to stop above the volume rather than hit the volume and get rejected? See, right here, it's hit that volume right here. That's why you got the rejection, right? That's your Elliott wave count target. Are you still thinking that it's an ABC? Are you still thinking you've got an A, a B, and a big old C here? I mean, I can't say that it's that it can't be, but man, that's a big move up there, man, with that wave C. And we'll see how it plays out, but again, what happens if you go beyond that? What happens? Do you have a plan? So yeah. Kimasabi says, I'm curious if this is a bull algorithm that paints the same pattern, been identified in multiple time frames. What it is it's just human emotion. This is why Elliott wave works. Now, that doesn't mean you'll always read the chart correctly, but Elliott wave works. And Elliott wave is just this understanding that humans tend to act in a certain way, a specific way. And that makes them forecastable, right? It makes their actions forecastable. And so, again, they're not exactly the same here. And this isn't exactly what we saw back there, but they're just consolidation patterns, right? And consolidation patterns, if you study Elliott wave, can have lots of forms, right? But that's all it is. Yeah. Ahmed says there is two reasons low volume nodes are great support and resistance and the liquidity above. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm trying to understand. So Ahmed says that he thinks where that is because he's got two reasons. Low volume nodes are great support and resistance and the liquidity above. Okay. Well, let's kind of take a look here. Let me see. Are these both BLX? Yeah. Let me pull up a different chart here. Let me add a different chart in here and take a look at this. Let's do it this way. Bitstamp's got a lot of history. Let's go with Bitstamp. Right here. Okay. So if we look here, let's see. Let me throw some stuff in here real quick. Okay. There's your VPVR. Let's look at the weekly. Okay. Kind of bring this in here. Okay. So you're interested in 31.2. Man, where are you looking at as far as? I mean, this is a high volume node here. There's a lowish more than these high volume nodes here, but still pretty high up there around 35 and some change. But this is all a high volume node here. So I don't know where you're looking for a low volume node. Because if we're looking right here, it is maybe, let me throw this to a daily. Let's take a look at a daily here. See if this gives us anything different. You're looking at this low volume node here, maybe? Around in this area. I mean, that's actually a higher volume node, right? The low volume node is right here where we got rejected, right? But now we're on top of this larger volume node. So, I mean, it seems to me that if you're talking about nodes, what you would be likely to see then, if it just hit your area, it'd be something like this, and then a pullback and kind of just, making its way up through here. kind of thing, right? So something like that, right? But I mean, that low volume node you're looking at, we hit the big low volume node, which was this one. This is what gave us this rejection here. And then we've got, a smaller one there, but we've got a high volume node right below it, a high volume node just right above it. And then you have a bigger high volume node up here at 38.8. In case you guys are wondering, the nodes are important to watch because, again, if you're a bigger player, you want these areas where you have these high volume nodes because that's where the market has said, listen, we're interested. So that's where you can buy or sell easily right there. Low volume nodes, you tend to get these rejections at first because there's nobody to buy or sell in there. It's just there's lack of interest in the market, right? And so you get that rejection, pulls it back there, right? But sometimes, especially when the market jumps in, it ends up rallying price. And again, market is less interested here than it is here and here, right? It's much more interested at these price levels. So if it doesn't get rejected like it did here, what you can see is you'll see price get chased up, and that's where you get these large candles, right? That's where you get those large candles. You guys talk about BART patterns, right? You say, oh, well, look, we got this, and then it goes down, and then this, and then it goes back up, right? And that's because in this area, what you have is this low volume node. So it drops right through it. So they just chase price down, and nobody's in there to catch it. Nobody's in there to buy along the way. So it just follows right down. You chase it down, fill in your orders to the lows. Same thing happens on the way up. So if you're not getting rejected there, you should expect a move up through to the high volume node, right? So, but yeah. But again, I ask you, Ahmet, I ask you again, if it does not stop there, where is your invalidation level? You've given me a few invalidation levels as we've continued here over the last few months, and it keeps going past them, and you just keep putting in a new level. So I'm just curious, is there actually a level at which you say, listen, maybe I'm wrong, right? I mean, do you trade that way? Because I think it's imperative that you do. I don't care that you come on here and have the opinions that's great. I think it's great. It gives us something to think about, talk about, right? And if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. At the end of the day, would you rather be profitable or right? And the problem is most people on social media just would rather be correct, right? And at all costs. They don't care about making money. They just want to be able to, to have their pride online, I guess. Which really isn't if you continue moving goalposts, right? So, I mean, yeah, it just, that's why I ask. Again, I'm not out here to, in case anybody thinks I'm out here to give Ahmet a hard time or anything, I'm not. I'm this is the same thing I talk to our students about all the time. I've done this for years. It's are you being realistic? At what point do you go, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong and I have to change my bias and this is what I'm looking at then. If you don't have that, guys, then you're going to lose a lot of money trading, right? The idea is just to understand where you think price may be headed, but to have plans if it doesn't, right? There is no count that Bitcoin continues bullishly for here. Really? Are you sure? Because I've got a 1, 2, 1 flat correction is a 2 heading up. So I would counter your argument that there's no Elliott count that gets Bitcoin impulsively from here. I'm looking at 3. I'm looking at a wave, circle 3 of wave number 3. Locally, we got, more interior 1, 2, 1, 2 kind of thing going on as it went sideways here. But yeah, I'm looking up there. But even more importantly than the Elliott wave count, guys, is if you're doing Wyckoff analysis, right? This is very clearly accumulation here. The fact that we've held up here above this range here, right? The fact that we've held up here since the 19th of March. So going on 2 months now, right? We've held up here. You've not been able to push it down. When you're looking at Wyckoff structures, you get your jump across the creek, and then you're looking for your back up to the edge of the creek, and you're looking for this to hold like this. And so we've been holding. And, again, via Wyckoff, there's very little reason to think that we're heading lower at this point. Anything can happen, right? We can't guarantee that things are going to go, but man, if you're reading this volume and price action we've done multiple times on here, this looks like the back of the edge of the creek here, which would send a price up higher, right? Again, as I've mentioned, Wyckoff Analytics actually did a PNF, point and figure count, and that gives them a target up there in the upper 40s. So, again, I think Elliott wave is easy to potentially get the wrong count on. Even in this area, even with my count, I'm still like watching, okay, is it going to be it or not? I don't know. But Wyckoff, if you're doing it correctly, is really a lot harder to come up with something incorrect like this, especially over such a long period of time when you have so much data as far as your price action and volume comes out. So, yeah. So, again, I think there's a lot more to look there. Plus, me personally, pivots. Very important thing has happened right here so far. We've broken out impulsively, large candle spread, large volume, large spike of volume above the pivot, and we've retested it as support. That's a very important thing. If we get a breakout above this, most of the time, that's going to get you a rally at least to the R1 pivot. And if you get there, most of the time, you're going to stay above the pivot. You might pull back toward this area and then go up higher, or you might go up higher and then pull back and go higher, but you're staying above the weekly pivot. In this case, it's the weekly pivot, but it works on any time frame with the pivots there. So, I mean, again, even if we get out of the Elliott wave count, which, again, you said there's no count that Bitcoin continues impulsively from here, and I just showed you one. So, the possibility that the Elliott wave could be incorrect, right? But the Wyckoff is very much likely not correct. And again, just, having traded pivots for so long, so many years, this is something that I've noticed, what I just spoke about there. So again, if we're getting a breakout above that swing high, I mean, I'm not saying it can't go back down, but because of this followed by this right here, if we're breaking out here, my bias has to be up higher. It has to be. It doesn't make sense any other way, right? So that's kind of where I'm looking at that, okay? So yeah, that's, again, I would never say that Elliott wave, like there can't be a count saying something else. Even with mine, again, this to me, pretty clear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So it's pretty clear 1, 2 here. This is a lot of sideways. So again, it looks like maybe a 1 and then an A, a B, and a C is a running flat. So you get a 1, 2, 1, 2. But, I could be wrong on that, right? It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just getting a 5, right? But again, if we're doing that, then we have to look at the idea, okay, well, if this is, say, 4 here, right? We're coming up here to this top red line here. And so we have to go, okay, well, a pullback, 50% takes us back down below the weekly pivot. And until that actually happens, again, because of what I mentioned earlier about what's going on there, I have to assume that's like a big out there alternate count, right? Because we trade what's most likely to happen at the time, not what we think has to happen, right? So we'll see what happens here. Again, we've got this nice rally up, trying to break up higher here. I've got a target locally here right now of about 30,000 area. And then, so, again, pulling back on that, if we get this target here, that gives us a 50% pullback, 38.2 just above the daily pivot, 50% just below it at the hourly pivot. So if it doesn't even overextend or whatever, I mean, it gives you a pretty, intelligent area to find support on that. So we'll see what happens there. But again, trading is about not what we want to happen or what we think should happen, but rather what do the charts say are most likely to happen at that time. And then as more information comes in, we can change it. For instance, your idea that, okay, we come up there to 31.9 and then we come back. By the way, I do have a target up there. You can see it's one of these interior targets on the way to my wave circle 3 target. But, again, if we get rejected there and we get the rejection, as new information comes in and looks a lot different than what we would expect based on the count, then yeah, you're going to change the count, right? So yeah, that can definitely happen there. Let me see here. Biddy's not too happy right now. This is the ProShares Trust ProShares Short Bitcoin Strategy ETF. Andrew, I think we were talking about this one time a few weeks back, right? And we were looking at this idea that in this area here, at least this target line here at 2115, but kind of up through this swing high. If we got rejected there, the idea would be we'd probably come down further. We did get rejected there. That does look like an AB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does look like an ABC here. This is potentially 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get a 5 down, which will get us a subwave 1 down with the previous low. That's what we look for with Elliott wave. But yeah, I would expect maybe a drop down further toward this 1930 area, and then a rally back up to this this daily pivot around 2040, and then coming down. I mean, that would be my initial thoughts. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets us a 1, 2. Right there. So again, if Biddy's heading down, we shouldn't expect Bitcoin to head down, right? But we got to right now, like I said, it's 3 waves down here, so we've got to break down below this $19.65 area, right? So, again, if we're looking at, we can look at it that way. If we check out here at the DXY, again, same chart, different day, right? We have some sideways here. We're getting rejection coming down. Again, looking at the possibility. I'm not a big fan of a head and shoulders, but I keep it on here because a lot of you have talked about it. We're looking for a breakdown below that, right around this area, right around 100.73 or so. And if that does, and if that's sustained, then the pattern target based on the height of the pattern there is down here at around 88.75 or so, which puts us right in this demand structure area here, this blue, right? And so, again, we'll see how this plays out. That would have me as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of idea. Maybe not 4 such big, but basically that's the idea. Five waves down to that area. So we'll see if we get that. But we're just now breaking down here into oversold over the last kind of couple of weeks on the weekly here. In Stochh RSI has not hit oversold yet, so there is room for it to do so. That monthly has a lot of room to fall. Look at those big monthly candles at the beginning there. But again, the idea being this is a 1, 2, being caught up right here. I mean, after that, we've got this further we would catch on the way down here. If we look here at the ICE futures for the DXY dollar futures here, I mean, we are range bound right here. You can see we rallied up, peaked out above, came all the way down into this support right here. It's in case you guys are missing it, it's this area right here. We've got those candles overlapping. Took a kick up, but man, all we did was do A, B, C up, right? It's just 3 waves up. We wicked out again, and we're back down below where it opened, right? So, I mean, if I'm looking at that, it looks to me like a 1 and a 2. It gets us a retracement of about 61.8, right? And, again, this would be an A, a B, and a C. The first little subwave right here down around the previous swing low. I mean, it's what we look for. So if that's the case right there, and this is a 1, 2, I mean, generally speaking, we would look for wave 3 right here around 98, 905, somewhere right around there. This is the dollar futures chart, so maybe just a tad bit different than the DXY chart that we usually use. But that's 5 waves down at 98.28. You can see that your Stochh RSI is broken out into overbought here on the 4-hour. Daily is not oversold yet on the Stochh RSI. RSI, it's doing this thing. Usually that's going to get you a breakdown into oversold. So again, generally would expect it to fall further there on that. Does that make sense? Could I heck out Saul 4-hour? It looks good right now. They all look good right now. They're all kind of moving up with Bitcoin at the moment, right? Whoops. Bitcoin, everybody, there's a knee-jerk reaction to the to the news, right? To the news event, and then everything's kind of rallied back up, right? Well, I mean, I'm okay with Saul. I was the guy that gave the call to buy there when it was around 9.5, right there, just off the lows at the end of December there, right? Did that live on that Wendy O show. As much as I hate it, guys, looks like an inverted head and shoulders here. Like here. See this? So based on this, see, we're getting what you need. We're getting an impulsive rally up off the shoulder low there, getting ready to break out. I mean, you've got a pattern target based on that of, if we can get it, right? Yeah, right up there around the swing high. That's what it should be. Right up there around 23.83 or so. I'm looking at larger counts, though. We've got a 1, 2, minimum expected wave 3 up here at around 31.25. Again, remember, it was back over here. Let's kind of turn this off here. This day right here, which was, no, it was the next day. It was this day right here, the 30th. I was on the Wendy O show, and I said, yeah. I said, it looks like a good buy right here, down there at that 9.5 kind of area, which was in this wick the day before. I said, if we hit, this should be good to go. Once we hit 15, we should be looking at 30. We haven't quite hit 30 yet. We hit 25.64 so far. But again, 30 should be incoming. I've changed my target now to like, I don't remember. You guys have to go look through my tweets. I think it was like 51 or 56 or something like that. Basically, guys, this is just accumulation right here, right? Reaccumulation before rallying up higher. Let me see. I mean, if we're just looking at this chart, let me pull this out here and do this. Let me do it this way so I don't mess up our chart here that our peoples have, right? Let's see. Let's just kind of do this way. Back to that daily. I mean, all we're doing right here, guys, is this. See that? That's it. If we flip that, there's no reason why we shouldn't be rallying right on up, right? So, I mean, this kind of 26 and change level right here is what we're looking for to head up there. So this becomes a 1 and a 2, looking for a higher move up, right? There's a lot of room here on the RSI here and the Stochc RSI. They're both neutral, a lot of room to run higher. 3-day, just crossed bullishly. Kind of do some sideways at the moment, but again, kind of get over here. Again, just, guys, I think you guys tend to make trading a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Really, this is all you kind of need to look at here. You see how you have this resistance, support here, whatever, right? And then right here, you can probably pull that all the way over there, right? Again, just some wicks down, but mostly finding it there other than this close down below and then right back up above, right? Support right here. So, I mean, this is where we are. And notice that's the high volume node, right? That's where people are interested in. They got rejected as they tried to hit this lower volume node here. They got rejected on the way down and then busted down, get rejected on the way up. So if we break up, man, should pop us right up there in the mid-30s, right? Low mid-30s. And then we should continue up through there. Overall, let me see here. You can kind of do some things like this. I can kind of get this. There we go. So basically rejector. So you're looking for an impulsive breakout right above there, right in the descending resistance there. You can see that you got it here already. Rechecked as support. Boom. That was solid. And here's the only other diagonal that, really kind of should be interested in. And notice that's all kind of right. So it's just this area right here, guys. This is the key. If we can pop through this, we should be good to go. 22.5, 26.5, that $4 range there. If we can pop up above that, and we should be good to go up higher there. Weekly's got a lot of room to run still. Curl back up and go. RSI has a lot of good room there. Monthly, of course, is just threatening to break out of overbought. But yeah, I still think that's a good trade on there. Let me see here. Real quick here. Pepe, we said we're going to talk about that, right? Look at Pepe. It hit. So generally, wave 3 has the 1618 target, and then it has the 2.0 target, which is usually the wave 5. So that's where we've hit. That was my last target I've given so far. So what did I do? I said, okay, you remember I had those other options if it fell lower, but I said if we get a breakout through this purple line, we were looking at this target up here at 212660, right? So that breakout right there was almost 100% rally on that, okay? And then we pulled back, and I said if we break out higher, this was our next target, 2634.05. We broke that. I said, and then we were here pulling back to it. And I said, if we break out further above this, I said, the next target is this 3543.46. And I said, but it may continue all the way up to the wave 5 target up here, that 42.66828 kind of area. So, I mean, we've essentially gotten there. The targets continue to be correct. There's a lot of volume. What you guys need to pay attention to is there is a lot of volume and a lot of overlap on these candles here. So even though we're getting higher highs and higher lows into this area, there's a whole bunch of volume starting to come in, which means people are selling into this. There's a lot of renewed selling going on up here that you haven't seen really, right? You had some selling right here, and then you had some selling kind of right here. But now, and there's just like a, one and then a lot smaller volume after that, right? This has got consistently many, many bars of volume up into here. So there's a lot of selling going on, guys. You're going to have to be careful out there if you're still riding this thing. I think it's probably closer to being done than not. But, again, when you get a little manic in there with people and they get all excited, you can keep pushing it, right? But the problem is you guys are going to get in there. Most of y'all are going to get in. You're going to be too emotionally involved in this. And you're going to be like, oh, my God, what if I miss it? You're getting in here, say, right? You say, oh, my God, if I don't take profit here, which, by the way, is already like 110%, right? If I don't take profit here, well, what if it does this over here? Well, I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to, again, we could head up higher, but right now I think it's probably closer there than not. What would I look for a pullback? Let me see here. Man, look at that. It's almost straight up, guys. Parabolas, right? You're going to do kind of like this, right? By the way, guys, this is the correct way you do a parabola. You don't do this and then go, oh, well, I'm just going to go do this now. No. You just pull from where you are to the next support as it's going up there, right? So base should get a pullback and one more up. So yeah, I mean, I still think this is wave 3, wave circle 3 here. I think we'll have a wave 4 pullback into this range. And then I think we'll have a wave 5 up higher. But we have to say, okay, well, where is it done? I don't know. That's not easy right now. See, again, we're looking at this, right? And so the idea here, when you jump out to the daily, is this is a 1, 2, and then this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which will give us a 1, 2, 3. I'm looking for a reason to take profit. If I'm in, I'm looking for a reason to take profit right now. I'm not looking for a reason to stay long. We've rallied all the way up through the 5 pivots on the daily. Yeah, I'm looking for a reason to take a profit here. If we zoom into the 1 hour, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see here. Kind of zoom in a little bit more here. See if we can find more of this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, yeah, it could probably, it could still potentially go up a bit further. Yeah, maybe a little bit further. It may break out above the 15-minute R5 pivot here. But again, guys, if you're holding on for the last few crumbs on a run, I wouldn't be too excited about that. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. So maybe you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3. Might even be a triangle here for 4. That might be it at 5 right there. If this is a triangle for 4 here. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a breakdown initially below 33, 67, 64 right here. If we can get that, that's going to hint that we may be done with that rally there. But you're definitely going to need a bigger move down below 18, 16, 26 here to really kind of get some confirmation on that. But again, I think it's just wave 3. And so let's say we are topped out there. That would give us a wave 4 down here. Minimum expected right here, 38.2, right? And then secondary target at the 50%. And if you're looking at the parabola, you probably just kind of come on down in here before you head up, right? And so in that case, if you hit the 38.2 from there, that would give you wave 5 up there around that 0.913 or 4 area. If you make it down to the 50% level, you could possibly see wave 5 rallying up here to around 11,696. But you need to confirm this reversal. Same thing I said previously. You need to confirm the reversal, right? It's got to make its way, down from there, from where it's at. So again, on the 15-minute, you want to fall below that level first. And you just kind of watch your swing lows, guys. As long as it keeps falling below the swing lows, especially the more major ones, the more likely that tops in there, do further. Otherwise, you might have a little bit further to go up here. But again, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep holding on up there at the very tops, hoping that maybe it's, splashes higher about that, right? So Zen says R5 pivot on the 15-minute. Yeah, we're right there. I could see it popping out a little bit higher maybe, but again, if I'm counting this as a 1, 2, and 3, 4, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me make sure on that. We just don't want wave 3 to be the shortest here. Wave 3 is bigger. Wave 3 here would be bigger than wave 1. So 1, 2, 3, either 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially a 5 here. Yeah, there's a slightly higher high on that second wick. Tweezer tops there. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that last wick up is a 5, finishes it coming down. But you're looking below that one, and then that swing low, and then really this swing low over here starts looking good. Does that make sense, guys? All right, what'd you say there, Ronsicle? You said someone is ready to blow their life savings, FOMO buying, panic selling, then FOMO buying again on Pepe. Yeah, sadly, that's just the way it happens, guys. In everything I do here and in TWC and online everywhere else, it's to hopefully get people to pay attention so they don't do things like that. But, again, what we find out is people are going to continue to be people. I teach the same concepts that have been taught for 100 years, guys. And I always get people saying, well, aren't you scared that everybody's going to learn it and then it's not going to work anymore? No, because people still do the same things. Human nature still happens. It doesn't change. Very few of y'all will actually look at this and start really taking in what I'm saying seriously. And those that do, you've got a chance at being a great trader. Those that don't, I promise you're going to lose your money. It really is as simple as that. Oh, you're just saying it because you think so much of yourself. No, I'm saying that because I've been doing this for almost 30 years. I know what's going on. You don't. If you've not been trading, 10, 20, 30, and what I mean by trading is consistently profitable, guys. Not this thing where you're in the market for 5 or 10 years and you're losing constantly as you're trading. You have nothing to say at that point because you're still a new trader. You haven't figured it out yet. But if you've been trading consistently for 10, 20, 30 years, especially in multiple markets, legacy stocks, futures, energy, FX, crypto, whatever it is, consistent, all these different markets, you learn things. You learn the way it works because you can't do it if you don't. You can't stay in. People like Peter Brandt, Bollinger, myself, again, we figured these things out. And just because you can get on, social media and run your mouth and feel like, that you're this big player because, people can potentially see what you're saying, it doesn't mean anything, guys. It really doesn't. You don't have the experience required. And again, you can get that. You can definitely get that. But so many people online just refuse to be humble. They don't want to be wrong. Why would you do that to yourself? If you really wanted to be a profitable trader, why would you limit yourself by acting like a tool? Why? To me, it blows my mind. It makes no sense because I'm going to tell you right now, in life, in trading, in everything, if you choose to act that way, you are never going to get where you want to get. You won't. There's no way you can. You don't have the right mindset. You're not open to learning and getting better. And if you're not open to learning and getting better, you can talk to any successful entrepreneur out there, anybody successful at anything. If you are not open to learning and getting better at all times, no matter how long you've been doing it, you have no chance to get any better. That's why I'm constantly still learning today. I still buy different courses from people, attend different live events and whatever when it comes to trading, because I'm looking at it going, has somebody seen something a little bit differently than the way I see it, and can it help me? I could continue doing the same thing I'm doing. I'd be all right, but I want to be as good as I can possibly get. So I'm always learning. And you go, man, you're crazy. I've had people tell me, man, you're crazy. You've been doing this long. You're doing it. Why would you waste all that money and time? Because I'm never content on just being where I am. The minute you become content in life, the rest of the world takes off without you guys. You start falling behind. People are like, oh yeah, people in their young 20s are like, oh yeah, I want to make $1 million and retire. And do what? Sit on your butt and wither away? The world is going to move on without you, whether you like it or not. If you're not constantly moving with it, you're just going to get left behind. Why would you, if you have a choice, which you do, why would you ever choose to allow that to happen? Quick question. Let me see here. What you got there? Quinn, what's going on, man? Quick question about your high time frame DXY chart. I see you have the current count dropping to 94, 92 region, then a bounce to 100, 102. But what are your thoughts on it dropping to 94 region, then bounce to 98, then dropping to 88 to 86? I would say that it's just, I'm not saying it has to hit 100 and 102. I'm just saying generally that's the target area. It could stop at 98, sure. That's just right up there with it, right? It's just a couple of points away, right? So yeah, I don't think it's a big deal that it has to hit 100, right? 100 is a psychological level, and whatnot, and it can get front run in 98, sure, yeah. So yeah, no ignorance there. Would you say there? But is that a possible scenario? Yeah, definitely. I don't see. Let's go pull the chart back up here. The big chart. Yeah. I would even give it room to, well, this right here again. If we're looking at 1-2 here, again, if I'm going to do this, 1-2 on that, right? Now, see, if we don't use the log fibs here, right? This is big movement here, and this is where where using regular fibs I'm kind of iffy about, and I might look at the log fibs on something like this. But even here, it doesn't make a whole lot of change, right? So if I'm looking at that, again, it all comes off what's happening here. We got a 1-2, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. Maybe this is the 5, and then this is a flat correction here, right? So maybe this is 5, and then you have ABC up, ABC down, and then 5 up here. And in that case, again, so in this case, it would actually be looking down here toward 87, 855, a rally up there to around 95. And then you'd be looking for a move down here to around 83, 581. And Hank is finally correct right there on that, right? But no, it's a running joke we have, guys, back from years back, about just targets for the dollar. Hank's a good sport. Um, but yeah, again, depending on how you're counting this going on there. Now, the other thing is, if this is a 1-2, is it maybe an A, B, and a C? And in that case, you'd be looking at a target of this 94,771. So, I mean, that's still on the table. I can't say it definitely won't be. But again, based on the pattern target on this head and shoulders here, you gets us pretty close to that wave 3 target. So yeah, I think definitely something to watch there. We'll see what happens. These are longer term counts, so anything can change, right? In that time, you just got to be ready to look at it. But this is what it means to be a trader, guys. Like, I won't sit here and say this is definitely what has to happen. I say, okay, well, this is what I'm kind of looking at. And as this count continues to unfold, I may, again, new information comes in. I may be able to change this count up a bit and get a different kind of target area down here. Does that make sense? That's what you all should be doing when you're trading. Stop worrying about changing your mind. If new information is coming in that says what you were thinking is probably not correct, change your damn mind. Stop trying to be right and just make money. Okay? I'm Deuce. What's up? He says, I'm retired early. I like sitting on my butt. My relationship with time has changed. I do everything on my terms now. It's great. And so, again, I'm some people, I guess we just aren't built that same way. I can't do that. I wish I could. I don't know if I wish I could. But I get in there. It's like, I want to be building something. I want to be creating something. I want to be doing something that's making an impact somewhere. Right. I get bored. I can't even sit around on a weekend, guys. I get bored just sitting on my butt for the weekend. So yeah. No, definitely no offense intended there. If that's your thing, right? But I know me personally, I just can't. I have never been able to, right? Yeah. So I'm always trying to get further ahead, always trying to do more, personally. Hank says, I so enjoy being out of the rat race. I do miss contributing something useful every now and again and working with the team and nurturing new talent. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge driver for a lot of people. Those of us that have really kind of gotten ahead in whatever our passion is, whatever we've done for years and years and years. Again, we get something out of helping somebody else recognize that and get to that level too. Yeah. So Hank says, I take Ritalin. That helped. Man, oh man. All right. Oil, guys. Oil is looking magnificent here right now. We have a couple of month-long bullish SFP that printed yesterday. I posted this on Twitter. I was looking to see how the candle did. So we got a pin bar here that printed this bullish SFP. I see no reason not to at least look here toward the pivot here at $78. I see no reason to at least see that. But I think there's a good chance this might be the low. You notice it is kind of, let me see if I can do this here. This right here. I guess we can probably just do that. But you see how you have this sideways here and the support resistance all here? That's where we are. So if we can take it and break out above this swing high up here, 83 and some change, man, I think there's a good chance that we at least challenge this 120 area, if not break out to a new all-time high. So, if we're looking at this, again, getting up through this area right here, takes you through that descending resistance right there. Kind of got this kind of thing going on here. I'm not trying to get it perfect, just showing you there's this line that kind of comes from here, even underneath here, probably even right there. You see that resistance, support. Oh man, all the way up through there. That's a decent enough line there. So again, I think if you're breaking out basically above that swing high there, you got a good chance to get up there. But I think at least, you shouldn't. I mean, you should at least, I think, be looking right up here at the at that pivot on that. So oil looks interesting, and as you can see, of course, on here you've got bullish divergence. If you're not convinced on that, guys, you've got bullish divergence here at the lows, higher lows here on your oscillator and your RSI. You've got lower lows here on price. Stochh RSI is overbought or oversold, bouncing off the almost the bottom of oversold, crossing bullishly. It wants to break out. I mean, I think you look for upside next week. Well, man, look at that weekly wick, guys, and this is going to close today. Look at this big move down here. Notice it hit this kind of EQ area of this. So let me pull it up there a little bit more. Of this weekly demand structure. And we're just about there. So the EQ, you hit the EQ there, boom, rallied up, hit it again, boom, rallied up. Look at where we're trying to close, guys. Look at where we're trying to close. I always tell our students, man, look left. Look left. Support, sideways, support, resistance. We're trying to close above it, man. That's a heck of a move there, right? And so, again, breaking out, I think if you're breaking out above here, you should at least be looking again. If you want a local target, I'd be at least looking at that 93, 94, I guess about 94 area here for that weekly pivot. And again, if you can get that, what's that R1 up there? 117 and some change, almost 120. I was talking about that 120 area. So yeah, you see how much sense it all makes, guys? A couple of people talking about the 50s on oil. Do I see? Again, that's something I've been struggling with since we did this. Remember, I called this top up here, and then we rallied up here, and I said, okay, that looks good for the move down. And I was looking for a move down potentially into the 30s. But this price action here has me second guessing that. It has me second guessing that. So right now, I don't know, honestly, if it breaks out to a new all-time high or if it rallies down. I'd probably be looking closer here to the 40s or 30s into this congestion here. I don't know which way it goes yet. Right now, there's a really compelling, interesting story based on this kind of price action here, really since October of last year. And so I'm open to either way. I'm not going to step up here and say it's definitely going to do one or the other. But I can definitely, with what's going on here, I can see a possibility of why it would break out to a new all-time high. Back here above, what is that, 140? What is that, 148 or so, 147? Yeah, potentially. How's the XLE look? Let me see here. Yeah, there we go. New price scale. We'll do that. By the way, guys, Cinco de Mayo today. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And I'm telling you what, right now, I'm going to do a special for Tier 3 today. So you guys, if you're following me on social media, make sure you are. I'll post it on Instagram, Texas West Capital, Facebook, Texas West Capital, and definitely on Twitter, TX West Capital, as well as in our Discord. And I'm doing a lot of changes with the platforms we're using. So I'm going to use a new platform for this. So you guys will be the first ones to get to do it. So kind of in celebration of that. And Cinco de Mayo, just get ready for that, guys. If you want to learn how to do all this, we focus a lot on Elliott Wave and I got to change this one here. On Elliott Wave and Wyckoff, and we introduce price action with it. And so, again, guys, if you're following me, you see how often I'm correct, right? You can be there too. You can. Join us. There we go. That's what we're looking at right here. So a bit more pullback on WTI than we have on XLE here. But, again, you had this divergence here where you had the higher low in XLE and you had the lower low here in WTI. Pulls it lower, right? And so now, I don't know. We got I don't know. It's still a higher low there. Still a higher low. So, yeah, not too much difference, but it has pulled back a bit more than what we've seen there on XLE. All right. Let me see here. You think XLE is quite a ways to potentially fall? I mean, potentially, right? Everything's potential, right? Everything has potential. Everything might do it, right? If I'm looking at this, to be honest, I go 1, 2, and I go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5. Could give us a 1, 2, 3. We can get a 4 here, even if it drops a bit further, into this kind of resistance area there around 67.5 or so, right into this wick, and then get a 5th wave move on that. Breaking out just a bit higher there. You can notice here on XLE, you can notice that basically you've got resistance right here, right, from back here in May. So right there in May of 08, great financial crisis, up here again, just a bit higher there in June of 14. And then over here again in June of 22 and then November of 22. So you've got that resistance there. But, could be potentially just a bit higher on that. Hey, I appreciate you asking about it, Dan. Maybe I'll post something somewhere on XLE, Twitter, or Discord or something like that, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so we're looking at all this. Let me pull up. Let me see here. I got the Qs here, guys. So this is something we were looking at with the Qs. It's following through so far. I've got a minimum expected wave 3 target up here. Let's see. Kind of depends on how this works out here, but this 1, 2, 3 is up here around the EQ of this supply structure at about 342 and a half or so. That would probably get us a pullback for wave 4 to the pivot, and then wave 5 a bit higher up here to the R1 pivot, moving down. This is kind of confusing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I could still go up there a bit. But big picture here, again, is this breakout. We hit the pivot, we pulled back to the weekly pivot, and then we broke out above it, came back, retested support. This is all bullish. This is all constructive here for bullishness. So we look for that rally up toward that R1 pivot if we can get it. Let's see. When you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could be potentially printing out a leading diagonal here. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, work on a 3, 4, 5 up to that structure, potentially. Or the weekly R1 pivot above it. Yeah. Yeah, this could be printing a diagonal overall here. Something like that. I'm not a big fan of the way that looks, but potentially. Let's move up here, and then you would expect a sharp drop back down in an ABC for wave 2. So, this could be, again, looking like this. And then, let me see. How far does that pull us back? It gives us a 50 right there. Oh, it doesn't. Let's move out to the weekly here. If we hit that weekly, that'll potentially be a 50 down here. Could just get a short wave 2 pullback, 38.2 on a leading diagonal. Potentially. So, yeah. So, we'll see how that continues to play out there. But overall, it seems like it wants to continue going higher. And, really what we're interested in is a breakout above this mid-August swing high. We keep talking about all the different charts, right? This is 334 and 42 cents. We're going to break out above that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And again, the idea that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 5, 3, 5 gives us an ABC. So again, if we break out above that 334.42, that should, that locks in 3 waves down. Make sense? All right, guys. Well, I think that'll be about it. Ethereum. Ethereum, we're just breaking out, guys. We're heading up higher. We had the 50 cross over the 200 back over here on the daily around the February 8th. But we are breaking out impulsively above the daily pivot. So again, when that happens, we generally expect it to head up higher. It's just, so we do this here. It's just this area right here. See that support, resistance, resistance. We break out above there. We flip that. And to me, there's no reason why you shouldn't be looking higher as we do that. Look at your 3 days just crossing bullishly and trying to break out of oversold. Just getting going. Weekly's pulled back below even halfway here. So a lot of room for it to potentially turn up and go. If we can get that, we're rallying right up into the weekly pivot here. So again, breaking out above the pivot and that local swing high should have us at least rallying to the R1, which gives you almost a $3,100 target there. So, yeah, so we're looking there, okay? All right, listen, that's it. I'm out of here, guys. As always, remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose, so please keep working on that risk management. Let me see your mentor students that are here, mentos. We'll be meeting in about an hour for our weekly mentor session, and we'll do that. Again, everybody, I will be posting a very limited time special for Tier 3 access for the next month. So if you want to get a head start on your Elliott Wave and your Wyckoff and your price action, honestly, guys, I mean, maybe it's because it's me, but I don't know that there's a better place you can really get this stuff. People keep telling me time and time again that there's just a certain way I have of teaching it that really makes it easier to understand. Excuse me. So we'd love to have you in there. Be looking for that special. Jump on it. And you know what? If after a month you don't want to stay there, fine, move on. That's okay. But at least you're going to get for $50, man, or whatever I do it for. You're going to get well ahead of anything you're going to get free online. I promise you that much. And when it comes to trading, the more you can learn properly in the shorter amount of time, the quicker you're going to get to your goals that you can get to. So there it is. All right. Also, I'll be releasing soon the pre-sale for the next course that we got coming up. It'll be released on the 15th of this month. And I may even give you a chance to get in on the bundle once more. It won't be for the same price it was last time. Can't do that. I told everybody at that time that was the only time we were going to get it for that price. But it'll still be a great deal. So if you're interested in getting access to 14 courses over the next 12 months, that's your thing, man. And by the way, the bundles always give you a free month of Tier 3 as well. But I think that's it. Oh, I've got free stuff I'm going to be pushing out here as well, guys. We got so much stuff coming on. Just be watching, man. Be following me. Texas West Capital here on YouTube. Texas West Capital on Instagram. Texas West Capital on Facebook. And TX West Capital here on Twitter. Follow me, guys. Take advantage of the deals when you have them, okay? And other than that, remember, the only thing you control is how much you lose, right? That's it, guys. Risk management is still the number one most important part of trading. If you aren't doing that, if you haven't figured that out, you need to figure it out. Because I tell you right now, you're not going to get where you want to go without understanding that. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to leave a comment, share, subscribe, follow, all those great things. Love to see you guys next time, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, okay? By the way, I got a couple of podcasts coming out. Told you, a lot of new stuff. I've got the Bearded Trader podcast, which I had Gary Cardone on. I interviewed him earlier this week. We'll have that out sometime this weekend. And then I've got another one coming out I'll let you guys know about as well. So much going on. I hope you guys are ready for just tons. Oh, also, don't forget, Wednesday mornings, Scott and I are going to have a new show together. Wednesday mornings, probably around 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So there, you get even more of me if you want that, guys. If you want that, okay? I hope you guys have an amazing day, an amazing weekend. I will see y'all hopefully in Discord, but if not, I'll see you guys there on social media or here on Tuesday. Take care, okay? We'll see y'all then.